In chapter 14 of this randomized Fire Emblem Path of Radiance playthrough, Seneki sends us on a mission, because how else could we possibly kill off more characters? Not that this actually happened, for once I actually was able to finish a chapter without losing a single unit. All thanks to Mia being an overpowered paladin and having this soul skill, which gives her a chance of healing herself while damaging an opponent. We could have recruited Makalov on this chapter, but considering Marcia is dead, I can forget it. But considering he didn't seem like he was going to be a useful unit, I'm not really sad about it. The chapter ends with a CGI cutscene where all the Laguz leaders talk about stuff we already knew, making this the most wasteful moment in Fire Emblem history. In chapter 15 of the Fire Emblem Path of Radiance randomizer that is somehow going smoothly, I decided to class Shane's Boyd, making him a Wyvern Lord. This is because of my prior knowledge of the game. I know that chapter 15 can be a pain in the ass if you don't use flying units. All I need to do is defeat the boss in the map. I just hope it's not a dragon. Oh fuck. Luckily enough, unlike in a normal playthrough, the boss does turn back into his human form, making him weak and vulnerable to the stabby. I might have actually been softlocked here if it wasn't for that. Normally you can recruit Stefan in this chapter with Lefe or Mordecai, but they're dead. I do finish off the chapter in a fast 10 minutes because of the strat, making this the shortest chapter in this run aside for the prologue. We take Tormod and Murim as spoils of war and take them to Seneki, who according to Ike has some explaining to do. After much explanation, which I won't go in detail of, we get a search warrant to search some rich snob's house. Well, house? Mansion actually. In chapter 16 of the Fire Emblem Path of Radiance randomizer we finally get Ike. Yeah, seriously, Tormod actually pulled through and became the main character he always wanted to be. Murim is still a dragon, replacing Mordecai, who is now resting 6 feet under. Of course red dragons are weaker than white dragons, but a dragon is a dragon, and I ain't complaining. Considering Tormod can be a decent unit because of this class, I decide to focus on leveling him up. In this map we are in the big rich snob's house to capture him for illegal possession of a Laguz. Of course, since he is rich, he has a huge military to try and destroy us. But we have a Mia. In this chapter we can also recruit Devden, who is a paladin, making it as if this run is only giving that one specific class to me. Aside for that, this chapter wasn't all too bad and didn't take me too long to finish up. I'm sure the next chapter will be just as short. Chapter 17 of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is known for being too long and too tedious, considering you are not able to switch up your team and take items from your convoy in between the 4 parts it is split into. Normally you can call in reinforcements from your benched units, but considering I only have 11 units left, this is kind of a useless feature. In the first part of this dumbass chapter we have to rout the enemy, which I do with Tormod and Mia, because they are now my best units. Tormod even becomes a lord, which makes him able to use the Ether skill, which is an overpowered skill that is only given to the lord class in this game. Without that skill, Ike would honestly be one of the worst characters in the game. Sadly enough, he won't be getting that skill until after this chapter. Oh yeah, Kieran died in this part, but like who cares about him anyway? In part 2 of this chapter, all we have to do is make Ike arrive at a certain point. I'm not sure if another unit can technically do it, but that's besides the point. So I decided to use some scuffed tactics with Boyd again to finish off that part really quickly. In part 3, Ike finds a Laguz Heron, who were thought to be extinct, but that can't be true since there are already 2 alive in this game. Either way, Ike decides to carry her around for the remainder of the chapter, making him a lot worse of a character. In this part of this fun chapter, we have to survive for 10 turns, which is kinda easy on this map considering there is the choke point where you can just put 2 strong units, making it impossible to get hit, even if there are reinforcements coming from the left. This part literally couldn't be any easier. The final part though has the strongest enemies and a boss snub that usually is just a mage that needs to be beaten up. Sadly enough, this time he's a freaking paladin. What is it with paladins in this game? Luckily enough, all my units are high level enough to blast through this map. I don't really care. We also get some reinforcements from the Lagoos and win easily that way. The chapter finishes off with Saneki saying sorry to the Herons because she feels responsible for killing off all of them, even though that happened 20 years ago and Saneki is 8. We also see a CGI cutscene to see grass grow, something you should be doing instead of watching the remainder of this video. So, I hope you all enjoyed this part of the randomizer and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.